Hi there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my webinar called Speak Your Way to the Top: How to Craft and Deliver a Speech Everybody Remembers. And I mean, everyone, that include your ex. Hey, listen, the world belongs to communicators, all right? The world belongs to orators. That is a great said by a great writer, because look, if you can speak, you can tell your story. If you can speak, you can get in front of a million people and convince them to do what you want them to do. And guess what? Between where you are to where you want to be, there is somebody holding the door for you. And if you can speak your heart and mind to that person so that they can hear you in their heart and mind, they will give you what you want. Oh, yeah. Hey, listen. So we want to talk about today about speak your way to the top, how to craft and deliver a speech everybody remembers. But before we dive into that, I think it's always important that I quickly remind you a little bit about who I am, right? So in briefly, I'm Stephen Dossou. I'm all the way from Togo, Togo. I'm an author. I've written 4 books I'm going to show you very soon. I'm a motivational speaker. I've done 2 TEDx talks, okay? I'm a transformational coach. What do I transform? I transform people. I transform businesses. That's what I do. I take any business, whether it's an idea or an existing business, and I come up with ways that can make that business grow, function better with the right systems, the right people, and the right strategy. I've also co-founded Leadership University with Arthur Kamasi, the world #1 thought leader when it comes to organizational culture consultation. All right. So listen, I've been around, I've spoken in many countries, some virtually I've done. I mean, a couple of days ago, I was struggling through, I was browsing, sorry, not struggling, but browsing through the internet. And I mean, listen to me. If somebody is on the internet has done a lot of things, that is me. Because if you call me, I will just answer. And I've got podcasts all over the show. I've got interviews all over the show. So please be my guest and go on Google. Tap in Stephen Dossou. My mom is not technology savvy. Okay. She called me a couple of days ago. She was like, Steve, googly. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? That thing, man, that you can write anything in it and it comes up with an answer. I'm like, oh, Mom, you mean Google? She's like, yeah, I saw you in it. So if my mom can use Google, I know you can too. So do just that and you will see me in that. But what you will not see on Google is this one here. Look, I love my nephews and my nieces. Okay, this is just half of them. Now, the picture on the bottom left. This was the last time I was home. These are the kids of my brothers. I mean, listen, and these 2 women, they love me to death. They love me to beat. They were fighting. One wants to cook for me. One I want to cook for me. Listen, I love these people to my heart, all right? And then on the top right is a foundation that I'm involved in. It's called Educate One Child. It's in Ghana, West Africa. We believe that the young people, whether they are disadvantaged or not, they also deserve to have an opportunity. And we give them just that by helping them with books, helping them with things they need so that they can survive tomorrow and learn some more. All right? That is okay. Now, I was telling you earlier about my books. Okay, I'm not going to dwell too much on this. These books are on Amazon. I've written Be Transform, How to Live Free of Fear, Self-Doubt, and Low Self-Esteem. It after 10 years of life struggles, living in places where you cannot call by name, being at the verge of death, sleeping on the street, living off dustbins, let me tell you something. I've seen it all, been there, done that, got the certificate, all right? And I wrote this book so that I can tell my story about how I was able to have a mind shift going from a 2-bedroom house in a Togo, West Africa with 9 siblings, going from there to becoming a speaker on a global stage and inspiring thousands of people. Let me tell you something. If I can do it, you can do it too. I did it by transforming my mind. Do not conform to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is what I'm talking about in this book. And then you talk about psychology and habits of great leaders. This book was inspired to me of my early years in management. When I was just in my early 20s, I became a senior manager of a major company in South Africa. And listen, nobody teaches you nothing. Nobody calls you for training. You have to figure it out yourself. And that's what I did. I figured it out. I studied. I learned books. I read books of Jim Collins, Built to Last, Great by Choice, Good to Great. I came up with leadership principles for me to find what works. And I put that so that if you're a young manager and you want to learn how to communicate, how to coach your people, how to motivate your people, the things that you need to know so that you can be a great young leader, get that book today, right now, and start that journey. And then I wrote something also about public speaking, that is how to become an unforgettable orator. Okay, it's the same as the title of this webinar, babe, pretty much. But that is just some written principles of how you can stand on stage and convey your message in a way that you are not you are not forget about. You're not forgotten about. Yeah, the English sometimes kind of mess me up. But really, my first language is French. So anyway, and then we talk about business and coaching. All right, how do you build the coaching business? What are the things that you need to know before you start talking about, I want to be a coach? Now, you see, this is what I'm about, okay? Because I believe in sharing, all right? I believe that if you know something, you want to make sure that the person next to you know it too. So I document my journey from being a coach, from being nothing to a coach, from being nothing to a leader, or being a speaker on a global stage. I document that and I present that to you. You can get that for just literally couple of dollars on Amazon.com and get it and leave me a review. Now, we are here to talk about how can we craft and deliver a speech everyone remembers, and that includes the people that hate you. Now, I think it's only fair that we have to go back, take one time in history, and really identify what is great oration. What does it mean to stand in front of people and speak your heart and mind so that they can hear you in their soul and they can take steps on the things that you're telling them, so that they can look at you mesmerized. They'll be like, wow, this guy, this woman has the fire in her. I want to do the things that she's talking about. I want to act upon the things that she's talking about. I want to be just like her because she inspires me through her words. There's a quote that says that if you can inspire others, if you live a life, if you can communicate it in a way that inspires others to be more, live more, dream more, then you are a leader. So let me talk about these leaders here in time. Okay, then we have Martin Luther King. I don't want to talk about this guy anymore. Listen, if you don't know this guy, then you gotta go and study your history books. This guy talk about, I have a dream that one day the black boy and the black girl will sit on one couch. Listen, let me not botch that speech. Okay, I don't want to botch it. Okay. I don't want to mess it up. All right, that speech was just too great to be messed up with. All right, and then you have Malcolm X. Oh, this guy, he knows what's up. All right, he's a great communicator too. He was able to do great things coming from prison to stepping on an international stage and leading hundreds of thousands of people through communication. Winston Churchill was known to send the English language to war. And then from left to the right, we have Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was the father of independence of Ghana. My ex-girlfriend argued with me, why would I put somebody that, people are most likely not to know about in my presentation? Hey, listen, let me tell you something. It's not about only the things that we know. It's also about adding to what we know already. So let me introduce you to Kwame Nkrumah. Now you see why she's not my girlfriend anymore, right? All right. So I introduce you to Kwame Nkrumah. Let's go back there quickly. And then Patrice Lumumba, the father of independence of Congo. Okay. And then we have Barack Obama. He was born in the very same year that Patrice Lumumba died. Yeah, Patrice Lumumba was assassinated by his own people. But Barack Obama was a great communicator too. This is not the gay America. This is not the black and white America, but this is the United States of America. Through that speech, he was able to be elected. He's a great communicator. And he has used that gift to, open doors for himself. So if we think about these people for a second, thinking back on what they were able to achieve, if we think about them for a second, what can we then say are, concretely speaking, the advantages of being a great communicator? What can we then say that are the advantages, the possible opportunities? What do you gain by being a great communicator? I think the first is persuasiveness, persuasion. All right, listen, if you are able to communicate your ideas in a way that can break through people's consciousness and subconsciousness, you'll start to get them to do what you want them to do. Now, I was in a workshop once in Bali, and the gentleman asked me, hey, what's the difference between being persuasive and being manipulative? I said, listen, being manipulative sometimes has a negative connotation to it, because you get people to do things that you want them to do, not necessarily for the greater cause. But persuasion is just a skill. Now, how you use it is what matters. Okay, so definitely one perk of being a great orator is persuasion. The other one is confidence. The confidence that it grows in you, for you to be able to have the ability to stand in front of people and speak what's on your heart. You've got to have confidence for that. I mean, there's one speaker in my club, because I've got a community where I grow speakers, and I mean, when she stood in front of people on that first time, she was shaking literally from head to toe. But over time, she grew an iron confidence. She stand on stage. She's like, give me the mic. I want to talk to you today about commitment. Oh, yeah. Now, next point. Being a great orator definitely enables you to develop leadership skills. Why? Standing on stage. When you stand on stage to convey an idea, philosophy, a talk or something just happened that automatically people look up to you as a leader. For that 15 minutes you're going to speak, for that 30 minutes you're going to speak, for that 30 seconds, people look up to you as you've got something to say, and they will keep quiet and they will listen and follow you attentively. So be careful. And when you stand on that stage, you got to remember that you stand on that stage for whatever time they give you as a leader, and develop and harness that leadership skill, because it is very much needed. The next point is it allows you to create relationships. Listen to me. Relationship is the fourth, if not fifth, level of what? The first is wisdom. The second is vision. The third is reputation. The fourth is relationship. You hear me? The fifth is information. The sixth is property. The seventh is cash. Right? So relationship, you listen. Tell me who you know. Tell me who you hang around with, and I will tell you who you become. That's just what it is. If you go around with 10 broke people, you'll be the 11th one. So being able to communicate, being able to speak and convey your ideas that move people and makes you unforgettable, it definitely makes you develop relationship. I can't tell you how many relationships I've developed after each and every talk. As soon as you step off stage, people come to you flooding. They're like, hey, listen, we loved your talk. How about we grab coffee? We want to get to know you more. All of that stuff. Okay, so definitely being a great orator will open doors for you. Next, influence. Oh, yeah. Influence is the key driver of leadership. Yeah. So leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a conviction, ignited by a purpose. All right. So influence is key. All right. Influence is everything. If you're able to influence people, you can get them to do what you want. All right. So there are many ways to influence people, and being a great orator, being able to speak, is one of them. All right. Now, the next perk of being a great orator is definitely critical thinking. Critical thinking. Critical thinking. Why critical thinking? Because for you to be able to craft a speech that people remember, that moves people, that shake people, you have to really take time and think about it, give it a thought, construct the logic, test it and try it and see whether it lands or not. So you start to look at things from a very analytical, deep perspective and think as to whether that works well or not. Okay, so yes, that's another perk of critical of being a great communicator. And then definitely, last but not least, being able to communicate, being able to speak enables you to listen carefully and to observe carefully. All right. So these perks that I've just told you about right now are the perks that you should definitely look out for, or should I say, when you make an attempt to communicate greater, if you want to really make an attempt to speak, okay, like a pro, speak your way to the top, speak your way to your success, then you've got to understand that you are going to gain all these non-cognitive skills along the way, being able to think critically, being able to have a positive yet silent and strong influence, being able to listen carefully and observe, being able to persuade people, being able to have the charisma that speak few words. Yeah. Now, so isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful to have these things that nobody teaches us at school? Isn't this awesome to have these skills that will enable you to make a difference in your own life just by using the power of public speaking? Now, I'm sure you're wondering yourself, right? So how do we then are able to use the power of public speaking to harness these beautiful skills? How are we able to develop persuasion by speaking in front of people? How are we able to develop influence? How then are we able to craft and deliver a speech over and over again so that by doing that, we can harness all these perks? I love the quote of Zig Ziglar when he says that you don't have to be great to get started, but in order for you to be great, you've got to start. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started in order for you to be great. There's a Chinese proverb that says that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Why am I saying this to you? I'm saying this to you because there are people that have tried to speak in public, to do public speaking, to communicate effectively, but it hasn't really worked out for them. There are people that have started, but they just drop it along the way. There are people that they're good, but they still question themselves as to whether they are good or not. Now, if you're one of those people, what I want to tell you is this, that, look, all you need is somebody to hold your hand and show you how it's done. What I want to tell you is that success, being able to be great at something, to find success at something, success that we talk about, is not necessarily about the amount of money you have, about the car or the cars or the beautiful blonde girls that are walking up and down in your home. But no, but it's about being able to progressively realizing the ideal that's worthy to you. So I guess if your worthy ideal right now is to be able to be a great orator, then listen, every day, if you're able to make a progress towards that, which you see that it is my progress, then I want to give you an applause that you're actually being successful right now as we speak. And then for every formula of success, there's always these steps that you see in your screen. And I mean, every success there is in the world, whether it's a success worth $10,000, whether it's a success worth $1 million. First is purpose. Finding out, why do you want to communicate? Being clear on why do you want to be able to craft and deliver a speech that everybody remember. Is it for my job? Is it for me to speak to girls? Is it for me to achieve career goals? Why do I want to be able? Or is it just that I want to inspire? Or is that I want to build a speaking career? And then when you're clear on your purpose, on your why, then fixate a vision. See yourself doing just that. See it again and again and again. See it, believe it. They say that faith is the ability to believe in things that don't exist as yet. Create yourself a vision. See yourself standing on that stage talking to 1,000, 15, 10,000 people. See yourself being on that screen, communicating and moving people. See yourself. See those messages coming into your inbox of people that are telling you of how much you inspire them, that because of your message, they were transformed. And then set small goals. I always believe in goals, little goals. In a month from now, I want to be able to make 15-minute speech clearly, as focusedly as possible, without any note. In 6 months from now, I want to do a 30-minute keynote with non-stop. And then create some plans for me to be able to do that. I need to practice 3-4 times a day or 2 times a day. You set up a time and day, you lock that in your calendar, and you practice the techniques that I'm going to show you very soon. So what am I saying? What I'm telling you is that being able to craft and deliver a speech everybody remembers does not escape the ultimate law of success, which is having a purpose, which is having a vision, being able to have clear goals, create the plan, and taking massive actions to do just that. Right. Now that we've spoken about the foundational principles, now that we've spoken about the perks, the benefit of being a great orator, now that we've explored what some of the greatest orators in time, Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King, some of those people look like, why don't we talk about the actual technicality of how to craft your speech? Now, notice that on my screen, I wrote each with ITCH. Why do I do that? Because the principles which govern you standing on stage and delivering an inspirational, motivational speech, or a speech that is there to persuade people or convey them or change an ideology or political speech or anything, the same principles surround when you are going to pitch an idea that's going to bring in $15 to $30 million of capital ingestion or for a sale. So these principles that I'm giving you are also very much applicable to salespeople. Okay, being able to craft a speech that people remember. When you are given that 3 minutes, those 3 minutes or those 10 minutes to make your sales speech, listen to me. You want to make a speech that people remember forever, that when they leave you, even if they don't want to buy, they will go home and be thinking about it, that, man, I met this salesperson today and he spoke about something that really shook me to the core. Let me go back and have some more chat with him. And when they come, that is when you have the opportunity as the salesperson to close them. So what is the first part of being able to craft a speech that everybody remembers? Whether you're a professional speaker or you wanting to be, what is the first part? The first part of you crafting, creating a speech that everybody remembers is for you to do your self-work, for you to quiet and empty the mind. I believe in that. Empty your mind of concerns. Why? Because if you have concerns, stress is brooding in the back of your mind, you cannot be creative. Artists know that. That's why they don't need anybody to stress them before their performance. Okay? Now, the second part is summarizing the idea of your speech in one sentence. I call it the speech touchstone. All right? So what is the idea of the speech? What is the idea that surrounds the speech? For example, I want to talk about transformation. Now, the idea that surrounds the speech is very simple. 10 weak steps to live free of fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. Boom. Simple as that. Right? Another one about leadership will be the key indications that the leader is not performing. All right. So that tells you exactly what a speech is about. Then you can go and then craft a speech about what leadership is, what's supposed to be the leadership impact into the organization. How do you identify when a leader is not performing, and all of that. right? So you gotta have one phrase that summarizes the entire speech, the idea of the speech. Why do you have that one phrase? Because it serves as a guideline for you not to digress of what the content of the speech is. And then the third part, people don't remember fact, they remember stories. So for you to craft your speech, you've got to take a pen and a paper, do an inventory of the kind of speech you want to integrate, the kind of stories, the kind of stories you want to integrate in your speech. Write those down or record them with your cell phone. Why? Because they are going to help you when you are going to move to the next step, which is skeleton. In this webinar, there's a part 2 where I'm going to actually teach you some techniques when it comes to, crafting a speech further. I'm going to teach you some more techniques, okay? Now, this fourth part is about the skeleton of the speech. Now, some people love when they are crafting speech, they craft it word for word, but some people only want to craft the outline, and this is what I talk about, the skeleton, right? So here, the skeleton of the speech is basically each point. All right. So now you have your one sentence that summarizes the speech. So you take like each point of the speech, into 2-3 lines. All right. You open up, present each line. So you create a structure, an architecture of the speech. Now you can go with that, or then you can develop on that and memorize your speech and go deliver it. Remember, when you speak from your heart. But that takes me to the point number 2, which is delivering your speech. Now, when you deliver your speech, you have to understand that this part, it's so essential. It's like, this part is like the last yard. It's like how an engineer will assemble a bike, but then will only put about 2 screws, and that's about it. Guess what's gonna happen? The bike will fall apart after a few rides. Now, this is what the delivering is. The delivering is what put the cherry on top. The delivering here is what is going to bring your craft to life. Right. So you can craft a very good speech, but if you can't deliver it from your heart, if you cannot find the right stories, introduce them in the right moment, use your body language, use your tone, and speak your heart. When the points are there for you to emphasize, you emphasize them the way you should. If you can't do that, let me tell you something. Nobody would ever remember what you spoke about. The statistic says that more than 10% of people, it says that the majority of people only remember less than 10% of what they have just been presented. What that even means is, after you switch up this talk, you're most likely to even forget what we spoke about, what I've taught you today on this webinar, on this video that you're watching right now. So the first step basically for you to deliver your speech is concentration. You want to concentrate. You want to take your time and concentrate. Zen, breathing, breathe out, okay? Be calm, be cool. Why? Imagine, you visualize the audience, okay? If he's online, think about you sitting in your couch with the audience coming in the Zoom. If it's face-to-face, think about the audience sitting in those chairs. It's 1,000, a 2, a 3, or 5,000. Think about it and concentrate and visualize that you are going to stand in front of them and deliver your message. Second part is the voice work. What I mean by the voice work here is nothing more but the voice modulation. The voice work, you want to work your voice too. This is very important as a speaker. Okay? You want to do some voice exercises, take warm water, scream sometimes. But what is very important in the delivery here is you must be able to modulate your voice. Don't talk the same flow from morning to evening. No, change it, flip it, flop it. All right. Do some, when you're talking about some serious stuff, raise your voice and make it heard. The third point is the force in your communication. Now, if you heard me speak all along till now, listen to me, all right? It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, but you'll swear that I have just woken up. Why? Because I know that there's a principle that governs delivery, and it's the force that you put in it. I'm not faking it. It's just how I speak every single day, but because I have developed the force to do just that. So you want to include that force in your delivery. And the force that I'm talking about is nothing more but being sure of what you are going to speak about. Is about being passionate. Oh, yeah. About what you want to talk about. And then use your body language. People watch more of what we do than what we say. So being able to use your body language to communicate your message. I wish you saw me right now behind this camera. I'm literally opening my arms. Being able to use your body language, which I'm going to teach you some techniques in the part 2. Being able to use your body language, open your arms and welcome people. Don't turn your arms upside down, the palm of your hands upside down. No. It is for the people. Stand tall. Work the stage. Walk left, walk back, walk right. I talk about cha-cha-cha. One step at a time. Use your body language. When you're emphasizing a point, emphasize it and take your ground the way it should. Yes, your body language speaks the unknown language of the tongue, yet known to your audience. So using your body language is very important, and showing the enthusiasm that you have in you will definitely make your speech heard. Now, let me tell you this, okay? If there's one thing I've learned in life, is that the power to use your voice can go so far. The last time I got a call from this Nigerian guy, he lives in a Nigerian village somewhere. He says, Steve, I came across your Instagram account and I'm so inspired. I went and I watched all your videos. Why? Because I love what you do. Even though I cannot afford your services right now, but I just want to let you know that you are awesome. You made my day and you inspired me to be more and dream more. Now, do you know what I'm saying? Now, what did I do? Through my speech, I was able to disrupt any negative thinking pattern that will be happening in the life of that boy. So now his perspective, of himself has changed. Now he can aspire for bigger and better things. So that is how key being able to speak is. Now, I'm going to leave you with this one. All right? I'm going to leave you with this one. That I want you to imagine that after knowing all of this now, you actually put in practice, then you stand in front of these 1,000 people to do what you're called to do. And then you share the message of your heart, and then you don't shake at all to face your fears, even the fear of public speaking, which is apparently way more than the normal fear that people experience, which is crazy, right? Yeah, I know. But anyway, I want you to imagine all of that. If you do get to imagine that, if you imagine that you are able to speak, you are able to earn your money, you are able to travel the world, you are able to do what is needed for you, then I want to tell you that it is possible. Then I want to tell you that I work with people that want to unleash their voice, that want to find their voice. And that's what the second part of this webinar is. I work with people that believe they've got something to say, but don't know how to come about. That's what I do. That's what I do. You hear me? That's what I do. So if you still want to know more information about this talk, how to craft and deliver speech that everybody remembers, all you've got to do is hit me up. Give me a shout. Give me a call. I don't know. Inbox me somewhere and let's connect. All right? I would love to do just that. Now, with that said, go ahead and craft a speech that everybody, and I mean everybody, can remember. I will see you on the part 2, the next episode. Bye-bye.